Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be casting game number 3 between Hyun, up the top right side here, and down the bottom left side it is going to be MC. Now this is the third game in the quarterfinal for the HomeStory Cup number 7, and so far, man, Hyun has just been dominating all over the place. Game number 1, he did some very nice work with some Roach Hydra and Viper support against MC's Zealot Stalker with Colossus support army. Turns out the Colossus are pretty good at destroying Hydras, but not when they're getting yanked in by the Vipers and just absolutely annihilated. So really good job there by Hyun. Second game, MC tried to do a cannon rush on the expansion. It did not work out. Hyun managed to drive it off with some lings and queens and all that sort of stuff. Did an excellent job, and then just counter-attacked with a massive amount of lings with some baneling support, and really just knocked MC out of the game. So now we are going to be going on to game number 3. And yeah, we're going to see exactly what MC can do, if anything, to stop this relentless play of Hyun and give himself a chance to get into the semi-finals. Because right now Hyun is looking like an extremely strong favourite to take out that semi-final position. And if he does, well, whichever one of these players win, they will be going up against either Snoot or Stefano. And Snoot, of course, another extremely good Zerg player. Stefano we haven't really seen much of, but I would expect very good things from him as well, simply because he made it to the quarterfinal. And yeah, what is going to be happening? This probe, man, he doesn't see the expansion yet, but he would. I don't know if he wants to do a cannon rush again. He doesn't look like he does, because that would have been a perfect time to put down a pylon. And yeah, he's not going to be doing it. He looks like he's saving up for the expansion right there. So definitely doesn't want to do a super fast cannon rush. He may go back and put one down now, but maybe he's just decided to go scouting. Maybe he's decided a cannon rush this game, not an extremely good idea. He just wants to go for the general macro style sort of play. Get a massive army, go ahead and just beat your opponent senseless. And here we go in the first few minutes of the game, and there's nothing really out of the ordinary happening. If we have a look at the income, Protoss player is a little bit ahead, but you can expect the Zerg to close up that gap extremely fast once he gets this second hatchery up. Of course, very early, before the second hatchery comes up, the Protoss can pump out workers a bit faster, simply because they got the chrono boost. But once the second hatchery comes out, the Zerg is again in front in terms of how fast they can produce workers. And I don't actually know the exact mass, but I would think the amount of time it takes to produce a probe would be the same amount of time it takes for a new lava to pop up. So yeah, once the queens start coming out and spawning lava, and the second hatchery comes out, then it is just all over for worker production as far as the Protoss is concerned. They can still do pretty fast, but the Zerg can completely outpower them in terms of workers. But of course the Zerg has to produce military units off there as well, so it all becomes a little bit more complicated. Although it's not complicated for this probe right now, and it's not complicated for that Zergling. He just chases the probe until the probe dies, or until he gets a range of a cannon, in which case he walks away. So there we go. Good stuff. This Ling gonna run around to do a bit of a scout, see if there's any sort of proxy anything. Of course, if you're looking for proxy pylons, you probably shouldn't be looking at the Protoss' third base. Maybe you're just trying to find out if there was a third base there, but that would be crazy, if 6-minute expansion from a Protoss into a third base. Yeah, although, what are these guys doing? They're I think this is just for proxy pylons, man, just so we can warp in a bunch of stuff. What have we got going on back here? It is a Stargate. So we saw this in game 1. He tried to get a few Phoenix out, and he did a fairly good job knocking away roaches for a few minutes, but eventually the Hydras came out, the Phoenix became a little bit more useless, and overall I think their use in the game, they really didn't pay for himself long term, and the Colossus tech got out that much later because the went for the Phoenix a bit earlier. So it was, gotta say, it was a mistake in game 1, and he's doing it again in game 3, and whether it's a mistake or not is going to depend entirely on which units he builds and which units his opponent builds. He's going to go for a Void Ray here. Excuse me. And we're going to see if this Void Ray can do some damage. Now, if he gets up about 3 or 4 of them, then he will be able to start sniping at queens without too many worries. 1 Void Ray or by itself, or even 2 Void Rays, not that good at taking out the queen numbers, simply because he can just run another queen down this ramp and reinforce it so easily. But what's he got going on? He's got a macro hatch, he's got a roach warren, so very similar to the build style that he went in game 1, without getting a ton of real Ling forces. I'm starting to think he only got speed so these guys can scout faster, not for any sort of actual attacking force or anything like that. But we do have the Void Rays coming out, and we instantly have a Hydralisk Den coming out. I believe he's got an Evo chamber somewhere. Well, we're going to see one if he doesn't have one already. Infestation Pit, Hydralisk Den. So yeah, he's going to be banking on the Hydralisk quite heavily to take these guys out. He's also got an Infestation Pit coming out. That may be for infestors. Maybe for, I don't know. I really can't remember. I think Vipers just come straight out of the Spire. I do not believe they need the Infestation Pit, but maybe they do. Here we go. He's going to get just enough energy to lift this guy up, and this guy's going to get taken out. He's got some Spore Crawlers coming down now, but the loss of 2 queens, man, is not going to be that good. Although, yeah. But the Spore Crawler's coming up now, and these Phoenix just going to be seeing what they can do. But the Hydra's coming out now, and these guys might be able to take out a few Hydras, but 8 coming out on the field, and there is no way he's going to be able to stop this, so especially with the queen coming out as well. So this hatchery is definitely not going to come down. These guys are going to have to run. The Void Ray getting taken out at the last second. So it's a nice attempt at an attack, but yeah, the Void Ray running across here, and the Ling saw it, and that's when he put the Hydralisk down up. And if he hadn't seen it, this hatchery may have gone down, because the Hydralisk would have been just that much slower to come out. But there we go, excellent job getting those Lings out on the field and seeing that Void Ray as it ran across the field. So good job. And this Overseer going to come around, he sees the starport, but that's nothing new. I think he may have seen the robotics for Robo Bay, and that is going to be something new and interesting, but he knows all about them. He dealt with them in game 1. So yeah, and a bit too many probes here. He's going to have to transfer them fairly soon, but I guess he's worried about the defenses here. Bunch of Phoenix coming around. They're going to be looking for weak points, but they are not going to find it. Maybe this queen. That queen's a bit of a weak point. Is a bit far away from the Spore Crawlers, but with Hydras around on the field, they need something that can kill a little bit faster. And here we go. They're coming back down, and they do not like the look of those Hydras at all. So not really much they can do. The Overlord's all staying fairly safe. He's found a bit of a gap here though, out of the bottom right, but the Spore Crawler coming down just in time. They're going to be able to take the queen out, but that Phoenix nearly goes down, manages to get away at the last second. And overall, yeah, the Protoss doing a pretty good job. He's getting his economy up quite nicely. He's not as far behind as he was in game 1. And the Phoenix are providing a lot more of a pain in the ass than they were in game 1, doing some nice work. So I don't think he's quite going to be the same as game 1, but it could be. I mean, this might be actually a little bit open. There's no Spore Crawler down the bottom right side, so he might be able to do something there. But his Phoenix numbers are starting to get whittled down, and with the creep coming up everywhere, the Hydras are just so much more mobile. Here we go, Hydralisk speed just popping out, and those guys are going to be quite nasty. The Viper's coming down. So this Colossus tech, which the Protoss player is coming out with, is just going to be completely useless, as it was in game 1. And I'm really a little bit disappointed that he didn't go for a High Templar, because High Templar with Storms might have been exactly what he needed. Look at that. I thought maybe these were anti-defense for the Phoenix, but they are mobile Viper producers, man. And the Colossus, he's not going to quite get away, but the Protoss player, man, he's got a bit of the right idea. He's sending the Phoenix in really, really heavily, taking out all the Vipers. And the Protoss is a bit outmanaged on the ground with his Colossus lost, but he's taken out all the Vipers. And if he can just hold on till another Colossus comes out, he may be in a very good position. Mothership Core trying to do as much as he can, moving out, but there's such a massive amount of roaches. You think he's sniped out all the hydras so far with the stalkers, so it's an excellent job there. And the Protoss really doing a good job here to sort of match off against this very, very scary army here. But the Zerg still so far in the lead. He's got the economy lead, but he's got the army lead as well, 72 to 44. The one Colossus coming out. Does the Zerg have any Viper reinforcements? The answer is no, I do not think. He does not have any Vipers, he's not building any, so... yeah, with one Colossus out on the field, another one coming up, the Protoss is in a fairly good position, but we do have 2 Vipers coming out. So that good position is going to be short-lived. Maybe he should have pushed in, done some heavy damage, really made the Colossus sort of do some good stuff, but yeah, those roaches, man, do not want to be standing under the Phoenix cloud, and the Phoenix going to continue to fly around, look for some good stuff to take out. They might have started sniping the roaches, but they've wherever the roaches are grouped up, they've got to be worried about the Hydras coming out to reinforce them. So yes, Phoenix, maybe they just want to snipe some queens or something like that. Spine's actually coming down at this base, although there is one spore. Going to snipe a few things. So yeah, the spore coil comes up, but they did manage to get about 2 workers out there. So nice little thing in there. One observer just keeping a lookout. And what have we got going on here? There's 2 weapons pretty close, and here we go. We do have Storm on the way. So the Protoss, he has heard my plea. He is transferring over to High Templar, and we will see exactly how well this is going to go. It's not going to do too much versus the roaches, but the Hydras are the main issue in this battle, and it is going to do very, very well versus the Hydras. And here we go, this army coming on, and he's going to do a very good job versus the Colossus, but yeah, the High Templar, man, if he gets some nice storms off on those Hydras, the Roach Viper by itself is not really going to be able to do what it needs to do. I mean, against this ground army, I don't think so anyway. And here we go, I think the Zerg player may have seen the High Templar. He's going for bloody Ultras, man. He's just going absolutely crazy here. And Ultras are going to prove quite a pain in the ass here. I mean, High Templars, they don't do crap versus Ultralists, and neither do the Colossus, so we'd have to start pumping into a lot of Immortals. And we can see a few Immortals out there as well, so... he knows that Colossus are better at dealing with roaches than Storms are. So he's got to, even if he wipes out all the Hydras with the Storms, he's still got to worry about the roaches. And yeah, he is going to get out a couple of Immortals to deal with them. And it's all going to come down to this major battle. The Zerg has let the Protoss max out, and he's let them get up a few High Templar, and that probably was a mistake from the Zerg player. Maybe he should have moved in a little bit earlier. Roach army coming in here, they're going to do quite a bit of damage, but the Protoss is going to continue the pursuit over here on the Zerg player. The Zerg waiting for his first Ultralist to come out. He's going to send that out. It's going to do quite a bit of damage here. And the Storms have not been laid down, but it's going to be only a matter of seconds. These Roaches continue to come in. Some Zealot reinforcements. Going to try and hold these off, but where are the Storms? That is what I want to see. Where are the Storms? They've got to be coming down any second. He's got some Time Warp coming down to stop the Hydras from running. And there we go. The Storm's starting to come down. Not getting the best of hits, though. The Hydra's running away. They've still got a bit of creep up here, so they can run a little bit faster. But I don't see any Vipers on the field. I mean, in the midst of the Zerg worrying about all those Storms, I mean, all of the Vipers got taken out by the Stalkers, and the Colossus are going to continue to go in and do what they need to do, taking out this base. Meanwhile, this Roach army coming through here, done quite a bit. There's got quite a lot of Stalkers here, but he needs to warp in a little bit more, I think, to take these guys out. Meanwhile, this base going down though, and if the Protoss can press the advantage, but this is not a good position. This Colossus all out by himself. This Colossus not in a great position either. Protoss forces split, and the Zealots, the Ling's going to come in, do all sorts of good stuff, getting some beautiful surrounds on the Stalkers, taking them down quite well. And here come the massive amount of Ultras, man. The Immortal's going to do some good damage, but in the end, I don't think it's going to be enough. The Ling's did far too much damage to that Stalker force, and the Stalkers were just not in the formation they needed to be to deal with Lings, and they just got wiped out. Some more reinforcements coming in, but I do not think the Protoss player has enough to move in anymore. He needs to get some stuff going on, but with his third base taken out, he is right up and back against the wall. And the Zerg player, man, he's got 3 bases. He's got his 4th taken out, but he's already getting this one back. Or another one back over here. And yeah, so he is going to be quite in the lead in terms of economy. He lost quite a lot of drones, but he's still in a very, very good position. And if we look at the army size, man, the Protoss is not in that good of a position anymore. He's going to be quite screwed, actually. These things coming up, they're just seeing the Zealots as they're moving out. The Zealots checking this base. Could do a bit of damage, but the Zerg player knows that he's coming, and he's going to send all of his forces out to take care of that one Zealot. And, I mean, why the hell not? Zealot did not even manage to get out this drone. He's just going to die before he gets it. This Zealot's going to see this base is not up, but this base is enough to make him quite scared of the Zerg player and the Zerg player's awesome economy. So yeah, what can the Protoss do at this stage of the game, man? Getting Dark Templars? Maybe, but I don't think that's really going to do it for him. He's really lagging behind in the economy. He needs this base back so badly. And I might have expanded to this one as well. He's really starved though. He's really badly starved at this point. And here we go. The Protoss army, sorry, the Zerg army, got quite a large amount of Ultras, man. And the Protoss has been madly getting up. Immortals, Archons, he's got quite a lot of Stalkers as well. So he's got a fairly good composition to deal with the Immortals. Link's just running in here, just doing a bit of harass, getting a couple of probes. And they're going to pull this Protoss army out of position. And the Zerg player just going to move on in, right in. And he may get a little bit sandwiched though, but look at that, man. The Viper saving the Ultralisk by pulling him back. It's a great use of the friendly fire ability of this yank back thing, whatever the hell that is. And the Immortal's going to be doing all sorts of damage, but it's just not going to be enough at the end, man. It's just not going to be enough. And yeah, just was not a good positioning, and the Zerg army is just overwhelmed the Protoss, man. They just had so many more units. Immortals are excellent versus Ultras, man, but when you do not have the army size, you are going to die no matter what you have. And there we go. It's just going to start taking out this force. A couple of DTs coming out, and the Zerg player will have to get an Overseer in here, but that is going to be a very, very small delay to his overwhelming strategy, and we expect the Overseer to come in any second. And meanwhile, the Protoss player is just going to continue to go downhill. There's really not much he can do at this point. And he managed to save this Nexus up here. And that's going to help him for a little bit longer. But in the end, he is going to have to give the GG. And there it is, the GG for MC. He is going to be out of this HomeStory Cup tournament. And yeah, he tried. He really, really did try. But in the end, Hyun just had awesome economy. And yeah, right when MC was maybe in a good position, was maybe going to go move out there with the Storms and do some great damage on the Hydras, Hyun was already anticipated him. He already went out and started getting some Ultras and just did some awesome work with the Ultras. And MC tried to counter back using the Immortals, but at that stage it was just too late. His economy was just too far behind the Zerg players, and yeah, he just got taken out due to overwhelming Zerg numbers, and he is out of this tournament. Hyun winning his grand final 3 games in a row, winning 3-0, so awesome job by him. And he is going to move on to the semi-finals, and he will be facing either Snoot or Stefano. That quarterfinal has yet to be determined, but we will be casting it just coming up right about now, or in the next couple of hours or something I might cast it. So anyway, there we go. Thank you very much for watching this game, and I will catch you in the next series of quarterfinals between Snoot and Stefano. I'll check you guys out then.